Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing. Woo! Woo! With the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. Just really happy to be here. Really happy to talk about the fight game. All you lovely people. And we're going to talk about something interesting that I came across on Twitter. Now, Julian J. Rock Williams just scored a very impressive victory against Jarrett Hurd to become the unified champion of the world. He really just was one of the best fights I've seen, best performances I've seen from a fighter on the road in quite some time. It was really good. He bullied him, beat him in every department, looked exceptionally sharp, and I've always thought highly of J. Rock. I've always thought he had the potential to be a world champion and even the best guy in the division. And on this night he realized it, so I just gotta give him a lot of credit because a lot of guys who lost Charlo the way he lost Charlo wouldn't have rebounded the way he did mentally, but he took his time. He came back up the right way. He beat some good, solid contenders back on the way up, like he beat Nathaniel Gallimore on the way up, who was pretty good. So I respect J. Rock. I like his career a lot, and he said something interesting about his career as it moves forward. He stated that he wants VADA testing for all his fights, and it's not even just him. Him and his trainer are extremely adamant about wanting VADA testing for all his fights, so that there's no foolishness or debauchery or rubbishness, if that's even a word, in his fights. He wants to make sure that all fighters he gets in the ring with are clean, that they went through the proper protocol, and that they're taking the most stringent and best drug testing we have in boxing. So with that being said, I respect that. Here's what Julian Williams had to say. He said in his tweet, he said, "Just a friendly reminder for my future opponents. I'll be requesting at least 90 days random blood testing by VADA. Won't be cycling off on me. Now we're going to find out who's really the best at 154. So there you have it. He's making sure that these guys are not getting that edge from a physical standpoint on him. Obviously, PEDs don't make you a better fighter, but they can make you have more stamina. They can, increase your recovery time in the ring. So, he just wants to make sure that if he's not on PEDs, that fighters are on PEDs. And fair play to him. And I like that he's championing VADA testing. And, I did a video years back about Julian Williams, basically, wanting to go through the VADA testing and protocol. So he's always been, him and Nonito Donaire are the only, American fighters that I've heard champion 24/7 year-round testing. And, here he is again. He's championing 24/7 year-round testing. So I respect him because he's been consistent with this, and now that he's champion, and now that he's in a position to dictate terms, I think he wants boxing to be clean. And I only get a sense that Julian Williams is going to be a champion that is going to be honorable. He's going to be someone that represents boxing in a good way. He's going to be someone that represents America in a good way, and that's why I'm happy he's champion. Okay, so I'm gonna get behind him. Julian Williams, I've always been someone that I wanted to see him win his whole career. I was absolutely pissed off and upset and gutted when he got knocked out against Jermall Charlo. Fun fact is, believe it or not, my first live fight reaction I ever did was actually Julian Williams versus Jermall Charlo. A lot of people don't know that, but that was the first time I ever went live here on YouTube, as far as during the fights. And I was live, and I was pissed. When that happened. So it's good to see that he wants that to happen. His trainer, Stephen Edwards, the very honorable Stephen Edwards, he also echoed what Julian said. Here's what he said in his tweet. He said, I quote, any junior middleweights who want to fight Julian Williams, don't call Al first. Call VADA first. Then you hit up Al. 3 months of testing or no bump. We don't care who you are. So I like the fact that Julian Williams and his trainer and his camp, they are setting a good precedent. They are setting good principles. And I always say this about fighters at the top of boxing here in America. The younger fighters, the amateur fighters, they're looking at you guys, that the world champions, the guys who have standing in the sport, and they need you to set a good example so that when they get to that position, they can set good examples. And here we have a guy in Julian Williams who, he set a good example in so many ways, and that's why it's going to be very easy for me to get behind him as someone who covers the sport, as someone who likes watching him fight, and as someone who is an American. It's very easy to get behind him because, he doesn't duck fights. If we look at his career so far, he's fought guys like, he fought Jarrett Hurd and Jermall Charlo early in his career. And, we're talking about a man who, if I'm not mistaken, let's see, I believe he's got to be, 28 years old? Let's see, 28 years old. He's not particularly an old fighter like that. Let's see, how old is Julian Williams? Julian Williams is 29 years old, and he only has 17 professional fights. So we're talking about a man who doesn't have even 20 professional fights, and he's went ahead and he's fought the likes of, you know, Jamal Charlo, you know, Jarrett Hurd, you know, killers, guys who are killers, guys who are, you know, fighters who are just, you know, really, really fantastic fighters. We're also talking about fighters like Ishe Smith. You know, he fought Ishe Smith, tough contender. Nathaniel Gallimore, tough contender. Jarrett Hurd, unified champion. Jamal Charlo, a guy that went on to become world champion, defended the belt, and he really is a fantastic fighter himself. We're talking about a man who fought Hugo Centeno. You know, it was no contest. Fought the very tough in game Deshaun Johnson. Fought a tough fighter in Francisco Santana early in his career. Got a draw. So he's been there with some tough fighters, beaten some good fighters, lost some good fighters, but a guy that nonetheless has been tested, who has improved with time. Is, in terms of American fighters, is one of the sharpest fighters out there. You know, I don't know how you can look at fighters and not see how sharp this man is. This man, he's fun to watch, and he's setting good precedents. He's setting good principles as far as drug testing and boxing. So for those of you out there who always want to condemn fighters from being drug cheats and PED users, and you really condemn these guys, then you gotta also support the guys in boxing and really get behind them when they champion the strictest drug testing, when they want, you know, the best testing, and they want their fighters, they want their opponent to get tested. You know, so that's why I should be seeing people bigging up Nonito Donaire. I should never hear one bad word said about Nonito Donaire, and I haven't. Thankfully, I haven't. And if I ever do, we'll have problems, because he's everything. Nonito Donaire and Julian Williams are absolutely everything right with boxing. You know, top world-class fighters that can fight. You know, they're not bums at all. They're top of the level, top of the line, world champion caliber fighters, sharp fighters, guys who come to bring the pain, guys who can knock you out, guys that are worth the price of admission to watch fight, and they're worth your time. And these guys are clean. These guys aren't taking PEDs. These guys are taking the strictest drug testing in boxing. And if you're gonna condemn the Luis Ortizes and Jarrell Millers of the world, then you gotta really get behind it. You gotta really bring out the positives for guys like Julian Williams and Nonito Donaire. And the funny thing is this, you know, and I've noticed this is not just a boxing thing. This is human nature in general. So quickly in life, most of the time, as humans, we're so quick to talk about the negative and bring out the negative. But then a lot of times we'll see positive, and we don't want to talk about the positive. That's why I can come on here on YouTube and I can make videos about fighters being a disgrace, call them bums. You know, and those videos, when I get pissed off and get animated, those videos can get 10,000, 15,000, sometimes 20,000 views. But then let me make a video about, you know, something positive happening with the fighter championing and getting behind VADA testing, and it might get 1,000 views. You know, it won't get as many views as negativity, because people don't want negativity. That's why, and negativity doesn't sell. Why do you think if you turn on your local news, you're not going to hear stories about the local man in his community who's got his boots on the ground and he's doing good charity and he's setting up community centers and he's doing things to empower, you know, the impoverished neighborhoods. You seldomly hear about those kind of things on the news, but you'll hear about the killings, you hear about the shootings, you hear about the girl being raped, you hear about the guy getting shot, you hear about all these things that happen wrong in the world. So I'm shedding the light on something positive going on. Julian Williams wants there to be drug testing. He's championing VADA as champion. He was championing VADA before he was champion, and he's been championing VADA for years now. And I respect him. So that's the news. If you want to fight Julian Williams, you got to get on that VADA testing. And if not, ain't gonna be no damn fight. So you got to respect that. You got to respect a man of principles, a man who is going out of his way to do the right thing in boxing and not put performance-enhancing drugs in the system. So make sure you guys share this video, man, because this has to be shared. This has to be put out there, you know, by just share this on your Facebook, on your Twitter, whatever social media you have. Share this, because this is something that has to be put out there. It's positive. It's good for the fight game. Make sure you smash that like button, because when you hit that like button, you know, it lets YouTube know that you're really digging the content here on True School Sports, that you like this video, and it'll get it out there more, and it'll pop up more in the searches, so people who are searching up for Julian Williams will be able to find this video a lot easier. So make sure you smash the like button. Just let's get as many likes on this video as possible. Leave your comments down below. Definitely subscribe, like I say in every single one of these videos. You can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.